Hey, so what's good, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. So on this one, I just want to speak about some realizations that I had. So like myself, no, growing up, like in life, basically, I was somebody who always had to fight my own battles. I never had somebody who would stand up for me. I think it's because of the dysfunction of the family and like how I was so separated. But either ways, I was always on my own. I had to fight my own battles through life. And like recently, no, I had like the like strongest spiritual warfare. Like that's what we experience in the spiritual realm. Like because we spiritual beings also just having a human experience. So there's a spirit, soul, and body of man. There is another video that you can watch where I speak a little more on that. So either way, I was having this spiritual attack, a really fierce one. And because in my nature I'm so used of having to like fight my own battles, this is a default setting for me. This is like what I immediately go to. But somehow, this time, finally, also, like in the spiritual warfare, I just came to a place where I finally said, like, God, I'm not doing this. You're gonna fight this battle for me, and yeah, it's not my battle. I can't do it. Lord, you're gonna do it. And it's like God, like came back to me, like, like I got you, my daughter, like kind of a situation. But then also this just let me know, like, like that orphan spirit that I had. Finally I have breakthrough in the spirit. God finally brought me to this place where I feel now more than ever like that I am his child. I no longer need to fight my own battles. Like he says in his word that the battle is the Lord's. Like he fights the battle and will give us the victory. And I've always said it, but in this physical realm, like in life, it was never the case for me. So I was like always having to fight my battles. And so I'm so glad now that it was the most beautiful experience, like just to know that I'm not alone anymore. I have a father, like, and I mean, I've been a child of God for many years, but just to come to this realization that is new. So, that's a realization I had. Another one, like, is that, yeah, like, in the whole, like, thing of life now, the way it is, like the enemy knows that his time is short. So he's like unleashing a whole lot of attacks and a whole lot of temptations, to get me back into the world, like in every way, like even like for me, I love music. Who doesn't love music? But now, like many years already, I'm not listening to worldly music. I pick and choose the gospel music, and even some of that also I shouldn't be listening to. Like some of the gospel music is super worldly nowadays. But either way, that's a conversation for another day. But also, so what I'm trying to say is that like I love music, and now the enemy is trying to get me back into the world through music. Like so it's like I have to be fighting and ducking and diving and like just like, and you actually end up looking crazy to the world the way like, excuse me, an alarm. You end up looking crazy to people of the world because you like fiercely, like blocking music or whatever it is, the temptation. But that's it for me that the enemy is using to try and pull me back into the world. So I end up looking crazy to people of the world because, like, how can you react like that to music? Like they never get it. And so that's just what it is. and I was so content with it. I was like, fine, if I gotta look crazy, I gotta look crazy, but I know that this thing, it starts here, but like, I know the end. I know the end, and I know I have to fight these fleshly urges and flesh appetites, like, so it's got me like ducking and diving, like really feeling crazy to myself, and I'm sure that to the world I'm looking crazy. The people that see how I'm like just not having, yeah. So that's another thing that I just wanted to put out there maybe. But then also, like another realization that I had also is that like how um we call them haters, delusional, enemies, like how they come at us also, like, um, especially, excuse me, I'm experiencing a lot of it in the spiritual realm, like people, like loads of spiritual warfare. People don't even know me, many of them, but they have something to say. And it's almost a way of them connecting, like somewhat even a distance away, but they just their words and it's like they throw taunts and what have you, unaware, as I said in the other video, that they're being used in the spiritual because they're asleep. Actually, they sleepwalking and they so tapped into the flesh, they're unaware that they're being used on the spiritual. So the enemy uses them. And then on their side, it's like almost they need this life. They crave it. Their spirit craves it. So by them taunting us, it like connects. They make connection to light, and then that's how they steal our energy. That's why we sometimes speak of them being like energy vampires. I hate it because I get drained so often by these vampires. Not anymore. Is what I'm speaking into existence, right now, because our words are very important. But either way, yeah. So they make connection to take energy to and I think it's more the work of the spirits behind them. They are unaware, but the spirits behind them lives and to feed off our energy. They feed off that vessel's energy that they depleted, and then they use that vessel to connect to somebody, to a vessel, us who still has energy, still has light. So that's how they steal our energy. And this just was a realization that I had today, this morning also. And then also it made me think of the story of Jesus and the woman with the issue of blood. Jesus was walking through the square or the street of that town, and this it was like throngs of people, so many people, like all pushing, and this lady knew like she could get healing there because she heard the stories of him. And either way, she believed that if she just touched his garment, she just made connection, that she would get a healing. And that was so because she believed, but also, like when she touched his garment, he felt like virtue leave him. It's like energy, that healing energy that he was so full of. He felt it leave him, and that's when he asked, like, like, who touched me. There were many people, I've heard it said that, like, there were many people who touched him, but there was no one who um, believed. I'm gonna just say, like, who was like believing. To believe in, you need to tap into like a higher level than just your fleshly, earthly self. No, so yeah, the other people touched him as he walked, but they were down. They were walking in the flesh. They didn't have any um, deep belief like she had. She had to go some other place to believe that he could heal her, even when she didn't see it. And she had been to so many people. We know that, like, like nobody could heal her. She spent so much money and she couldn't be healed, but she had to get to another place, a higher place, or a deeper place in herself, like to believe that he could. And that belief eventually healed her, but he had to ask, like, who touched me? Because when she touched, she tapped in to something, like, and she drew of his virtue, his healing, and yeah, so that's beautiful. This is just a realization that I had. So this is the same with us and the haters, but now they being used, these haters now, um by these old demoniacs, these spirits of old, like these fallen ones. The haters are being used by them, and it's these that need energy off of all of us humans, and they use them to satisfy their fleshly desires, like, and then they also need energy, so they have them come at us to taunt us, to speak on us, just to make connection that they may also draw. That's why we have to protect our energy. We always speak about protecting our energy from these energy vampires. These are the energy vampires, but also we know that the Bible speaks about us having weapons of warfare. That is the armor of God that we need to put on every morning, like, because we're in a spiritual battle. That is spiritual warfare, like when you understand it, then you look at life differently, because we are spiritual beings, as I said. So what else did I want to say? Is that, yeah, I think this is all for this one. Some of my realizations that I had, and yeah, I hope it blesses you. You're going to see you on the next one. Peace out.